Is it just me, or does it feel like nobody really talks about Beauty Bay outside of their eyeshadow palettes? And you see, the thing is, they have a bunch of other products, and this is one of their newer ones. It's a multi-use complexion product, which actually dropped today. But I feel like they had no like real applause or fanfare coming up to this. It just kind of dropped. And there it was. There's two particular palettes. One is for more fair and one is for more tan to deep. And they're retailing right now for €22. Let's discuss this. I have to say that I do appreciate a multi-use palette. I think that's really interesting because this is meant to be for the eyes, the lips and the face. Now this one here is the fair to medium one. And according to their website, there's 11 4-gram pans and one 4.5 grams. So it seems like they're all about the same weight. And when you look at the breakdown, there are 11 creams and one powder. So I assume it's the powder that's 4.5 grams. Anyways, when you're looking at this, it feels quite a safe palette. I think it's quite interesting that they don't really seem to have a shade in here that looks very contoury. Maybe cold brew, but you know, at a push. I also feel like having just two shades, this is the fair to medium, is just a bit weird. And there's something about this that is just bringing me back to early days of like Anastasia Beverly Hills multi-use palettes. There's a bit about this that even has the same colours as like there's a Morphe palette. Granted, that has like powders and stuff in it, but it's kind of giving me those vibes. And they've said that the palette works to conceal, correct, sculpt and set your way to a flawless full face. And they've shown this gorgeous model. I mean, let's be real, she's stunning. But I don't know, there's something about this that like, maybe it's the powder that they've used, which is part of this, but it seems to almost cake it up ever so slightly. And it does look like they kind of struggled with blending the bronzer up towards near where the hairline is. To be fair though, that is very difficult to do at times. I don't know, it's just not selling me. It's €22 though, it's like not super expensive, but I wouldn't get any use out of it. And if I'm completely honest, like the thing that's really grabbing me here is actually her highlight. And there's no highlighter in the palette. So I'm assuming it's like one of their other products. And I'm like, that's the thing I'm the most interested in out of this. I don't know, it's very strange. And they give the breakdown here. Like they've essentially 3 different shades for concealer, I guess for like spot correction and under eye brightening, etc. But they also have an under eye brightener and a color corrector. Personally, I think maybe the setting powder seems to be the thing that's making that cakiness. I don't know, it can always be like a little bit tricky, particularly when you're making it like fair to medium. Like this could make some people look quite ashy. It's probably my colour because, you know, I'm terrifyingly pale. And I mean, they do say that cold brew here is a contour, and I have to say when it's kind of swatched out, it does look like that. I feel like maybe the two blushes are a little bit too similar in tone. Like, yes, one is matte and one is dewy, but I mean, you know, the highlighter though is very, very cute. And I didn't realise that's obviously what's on her face. So, I mean, that's potentially one that's interesting. Maybe it would be worth getting for that alone. But other than that, I mean, would I necessarily pay €22 for that? Not really. And then we have the jump from the tan to deep one. And this is again retailing for €22. They have the exact same claims of 11 creams, 1 powder. There's that mismatch between 11 4-gram pans and 1 4.5-gram pans. I don't know. This is kind of a little bit strange. Like, I do appreciate the fact that they do seem to have 2 different blush colors in here, which isn't a bad one. But I again do feel like maybe they needed one extra palette in here to really try and get as many people, like have it be as inclusive as possible. And I guess the other thing that I'm a little bit not worried about, but you know that powder down at the bottom, P1, how is that going to look on deeper skin tones? Because sometimes if you have a white, it can really make somebody look extremely ashy. But I do again appreciate the fact that at least on this palette, they've made the 2 blushes to look quite distinct. Like one is more a dewy blush, that's the dusk one, and then one is more matte, which is the grapefruit one. And they've of course shown a model actually wearing it, and let's be real, she is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know whether or not they've used the powder on her. I'd love to know if they did, because I mean, she looks great. It doesn't seem to have like made her look ashy at all. I just kind of wish they gave more details about exactly what was used where, so you could make a slightly more informed decision. But they've kind of given, again, the same sort of breakdown here where there's a setting powder, there's the same number of concealers. So there's 3, there's an under eye brightener, and there's a colour corrector. I'd love to know for any of you guys who have a deeper skin tone, is that like the correct colour corrector? I can't claim to know much about this because it's not exactly my area of expertise, but I'd love to know that. And they've again got 2 bronzers in there. I think it's quite smart that they've got 2 different shades of bronzers, although maybe the contour treacle is a little bit too close to the bronzer. I think maybe they needed to make that a little bit more kind of grey in tone, maybe just to kind of really get the contour going on. But I appreciate the fact that they've got 2 different bronzers in there, because I mean, you know, sometimes your skin goes a little bit paler over the winter months, so that could be quite smart to make it a little bit more versatile. But all in all, I don't know who exactly would get use out of this. Maybe an MUA could get the 2 palettes and they'd find it quite useful. But yeah, there's something about this particular launch that all I can think of is Anastasia Beverly Hills and like the old school face kits that we used to get 5 million years ago. And I get it. I get that we're kind of going back, you know, all of these things are cyclical, but it's so strange to me. I'm like, that didn't happen that long ago. Why are we doing this again? Like I said, there's like literally Morphe palettes that have those exact shades. Like it's so funny. Like I have an app on my computer where if I like click on a particular item, it'll try and find me like a cheaper price on it because I don't want to pay full price. And it basically also looks at the picture and then goes, you can find something similar. And it said, you can find a similar, cheaper product. And it was like Morphe. And I was like, oh my God. I just thought it was so funny. I don't know. There's nothing about this that necessarily grabs me. I don't think there's anything wrong with Beauty Bay. I think they've I mean, let's be real, excellent quality, particularly when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. But there's something about like when it comes to their face products that I don't get like really excited about. And it's not because I don't find face products exciting. I have like 3 blush drawers. That is not a normal amount of blush drawers. I have a lot of blushes. I have a lot of highlighters. I only have 1 bronzer contour drawer. I'm at least being sensible there. But like, you'd think that something like this would necessarily grab me, but I feel like there's nothing about this that's kind of unique enough to warrant it. I don't know, it just doesn't really get me. I mean, let me know if you got it. I will have an affiliate link if you do want to get it, but let's be real, you don't need it. You probably don't need it. Have a little look at your collection, see what you do have. If you do love creams, then maybe, but the likelihood is all of this is like stuff that you've seen before. You've come across this. You probably have it in your collection. This might be a decent gift for somebody who's new to makeup. But for those of us who have been messing around with makeup for a long time, this probably isn't it. And also, like, let's be real, Made by Mitchell kind of got there first and did it a lot more interestingly and had more inclusive shade ranges. I don't know, this is just... it's weird. And €22, I don't know. It's not a bad price, but it's just not interesting enough. Anyways, I'll shut up now. Let me know what you guys think down below.